Hello, welcome to my Runefest vlog. So for those of you who don't know, I play a game called Runescape, which is made by Jagex game studios in Cambridge, and every year they hold a event for the game. They've been doing it for the past 6 years. This was the 6th year, and it's basically where all the players get together. They can sort of meet up with friends who they've met in the game. They can do activities, they can watch main stage events, secondary stage events that sort of give you a bit more insight into the game for the future. So this year was my 4th, although I kept saying it was my 5th, so obviously I can't count. And I was sort of invited along kind of to do the event and also to go on the live stream, which I will hopefully show you a bit later in the video. It's been a massive part of my life as a game, and it's actually one of the reasons why I decided to go into voiceover work, because I used to make comedy skits with the game. Although they had to change the venue this year, it was actually kind of better, because the previous sort of 3 years that I've been, we went to the Tobacco Docks in London, and there was always like a lot of sort of corners or space that wasn't really being used, and it kind of got you out of that sort of vibe of the Runescape event. This year, however, because it was such an open space, you were sort of walking from one thing to another. You could still see other things going on. You could actually see the events that you could do for your sort of skill chips, which are these things that you can obtain by doing different like tasks and games throughout the event. Such as a penguin hunt, so you find the letters on the penguins dotted around the place, and then you make the word and you have to figure out what word it is and you get a chip for it. They had an archery, which I'll talk about a bit later on. But overall, it was an incredible day. In fact, to be honest, it's 2 days, because the Friday the 16th you have a night before party at Namco, where they hire out the entire venue. You get free play on pretty much every game that isn't ticket based, but you can still play the ticket based games and win the prizes. But it's kind of a nice kind of environment, everyone there. It's one of those events where you can just talk about RuneScape and not feel like uncomfortable, because I know a long time ago I used to feel very uncomfortable saying I play RuneScape. Now I don't care, but some people still are at that level, and it's nice to be able to just have a conversation with people, make new friends, to obviously play within the game as well. So it's a great event for that kind of thing, and it's lovely to meet the creators of the game, the different people that work on the different sides of the game, like the audio, the graphics department, the art department, the sort of lore or story department, and it's a great way to kind of figure out where the game is going in the future. Now with RuneScape, it's actually sort of it's not split into two, like we all play the same game, but there are some players who play the old school version, which is sort of pre-2007, and they're keeping it like that because a lot of players sort of left because they didn't want the game to progress into RuneScape 3. And I personally play RuneScape 3 because I love watching a game move forward a bit more and seeing how much it can update itself, and it looks incredible right now where it is with the new client NXT. It's looked probably the best it has in years. So this year was very different for me from the previous years. Obviously, I was sort of there as an almost special guest, which is still weird for me anyway. So I did get to meet some of my supporters and sort of get photos with them, and I get to meet loads of other people. And I got the honour of going on the live stream with George Sampson, who I've met a few times now, and he's a lovely guy, and it's always nice to sort of catch up. And we just sort of had a laugh on the sofas on the live stream, and then I was brought back for the end to sort of say goodbye, which is it's really nice. A couple of my friends won some awards. I have a friend called Will Miss It. He won a Golden Gnome this year, and so did a friend called Presleek, or Jasmine. She won it for her artwork, which is awesome because she's been doing them for so long, and I've always said that she's amazing at her like comics and her sort of cartoon drawings or animations. And yeah, it was a really nice event. Obviously with events, you're not always going to have like a perfect event, and although it was really lovely this year, there are a couple of things that I think would have benefited it or made it a little bit better. So for me personally, the archery queue was always like packed. It was the longest line for any activity, and I feel like either because I didn't actually get to see, because you couldn't see the archery because it was sort of around the corner, because I think it was down like a long sort of stretch of the building, so you could obviously fire the arrows, but because of that you can't see it. So I don't know how many targets there were, but I think maybe this, like if they were going to do that sort of thing another year, maybe to get more targets for the archery, because the queue was so far back. I queued in it a couple of times, but the thing is, because they've got talks going on through the day, I didn't want to miss them, and I sort of queue up and it would be there for sort of 15-20 minutes, and then I'd look at the schedule and be like, oh, there's a talk in like 20 minutes, there's no way we're going to get there in time. So I kind of missed out on that skill chip, which meant I missed out on the overall skill chip, which is the first time I've ever done that. And then this isn't as important because it's drink based, but having bar experience, seeing how they were pouring the drinks was sort of like a bit dodgy. Obviously, like being in London, the drinks are expensive anyway, but it was a bit disheartened when I was paying £5 for a drink and they weren't doing full measurements with the spirits and things like that. But this was due to them running out of spirits way too quickly, and I think by the end of it they were literally just trying to pour as little as they could sort of get away with, using the sort of ice cube trick to make it look like there was loads more in there than there wasn't. For those who are gluten and dairy intolerant, I think it was a bit difficult for them to get like a sandwich or some sort of food, because I personally had to go grab a gluten-free sandwich, and the people serving the sandwiches didn't know there were gluten-free sandwiches, even though it was written on the sign. And I ended up having to actually be sort of taken to the manager of the food company, and he was like, yeah, we do have it, it's just in the back. And I feel like they should have, it's not even to do with like Jagex or Runescape at all, it's probably the catering company more than anything, but they needed to like communicate with the rest of, like, there's like 4 or 5 sort of food and bar areas, and I think they needed to communicate a lot better so they knew what the situation was with like food allergies and things like that. So perhaps that's a note to the food people, not RuneScape at all. I think this year there was definitely sort of a heavier old school player base, and I do feel like sometimes, although the event is for sort of it's RuneScape as a whole, they do tend to sort of put old school on a sort of, it's not as sort of big for the old school side. It would be nice to see a sort of trail that like splits off maybe, and like like a smaller section could be like for all old school stuff, and then the main bit could be for the newer sort of game. But overall I had fun, and I'm really looking forward to sort of RuneScape with the future updates that they were talking about. Really excited about some of those, especially the pet ones, because I've got loads of pets in game, and it's just, yeah, I don't know where to put them really. It'd be really nice to have a place where you can actually go visit them a bit more. It sounds really silly, but I love my pets. So overall I think I'd give the event probably like an 8 out of 10, maybe a 9. But just for those like couple of points I mentioned, were like the archery queue and things like that. But other than that, it was really nice. I do think maybe people weren't as talkative this year. I've started to notice it. I don't know why, but the first sort of year I went, people were very much sort of chatting a bit more with each other. There was a bit more like everyone was there as a whole, rather than sort of odd groups in different spots, making it a bit more like split off. And yeah, I think it's just not, it would just be nice if everyone just came together as a community there in that point, rather than sticking with their groups. Yeah, by all means stick with your friends groups and stuff, but maybe try and sort of make an effort to meet new people instead as well, and have a chat and things like that, because I know for some people that were on their own there this year, they didn't seem to have as much of a good time as they had before, because there weren't people to maybe talk to and hang out with, and like people had their groups. But other than that, yeah, the event was really good. Really enjoyed it, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what they're going to do next year with it. I'm not 100% confirmed whether I'm going next year. If it's in the same location, I would definitely love to see that in a new light. But yeah, it's whether what I'm doing next year basically. But I would love to go. It's kind of a tradition now. But yeah, anyway, I've probably spoken so much in this video. So it was lovely meeting everyone that I met at the event, and I'll be making some more videos hopefully soon. But for now, see you later. Oh, if you want to add me in game, FalconZB, I'll stick it on the screen. And yeah, see you later.